I'm Damon. Some people know me as Key. I'm 22 years old, and back when I was 14, I had an accident that left me paralyzed, where I had to relearn how to walk 6 times over a course of 2 years. I actually ended up breaking my back technically twice, and that was from skating. I think as I got older, like just 5 years old and up, I was really using skateboard as an escape from my home life because home life wasn't so good. My father would always let me go out to go skate. You know, he wouldn't let me always go out to go play, but whenever it was involved skating, he was down for it, so I was able to get outside the house. So I remember I was living in a Motel 6 when I was like in 6th grade, and I ended up landing a kickflip finally, and right after the kickflip, it was just rapid. And it really just started progressing and progressing. Then I saw Nija do the huge drops, the rails, you know, and the staircases, and I was mesmerized by it. So I ended up starting to try to do drops, and that was my thing. I just really wanted to do bigger, better things. I remember after just a long day of skating, my back hurt, and I asked my father to take me to the hospital. And he said if my back hurt more the next day, he would take me. So that went on for about a week. After the week, one day I woke up, my legs were on fire. They felt like they were burning. They felt really heavy, like I couldn't move them. So I made it down the stairs and I told my father, I was like, something's severely wrong. I need to go to the emergency room right now. And he ended up taking me to a quick here, where they just check up on you real quick. 2 times before I went, I collapsed and lost all controls of my legs, and then I was like able to get back up, and I was like, whoa, that was funny, you know? After they sent me home, they said MRI Friday, it was like 5 days out, and they said to lay down. And I remember I went to go lay down on my father's bed because I couldn't go upstairs. And after I was laying on his bed, my dumb ass was like, yo, I want to go play video games kinda, you know, I just want to go lay down. So I ended up getting up. I was using the cane, I could barely move, and when I hit almost to the living room, I locked up, and then I just lost my legs. And I remember just crawling around and just screaming for somebody to help me. I didn't know what was going on. It was like a traumatic situation. But I was paralyzed, and I was just pulling myself to the carpet, trying to get to the carpet. I guess it seemed a little softer than the hardwood floor. And ambulance ended up coming, and then they took me to the hospital. The doctor didn't even tell me, and he came in the room, and my dad was there, and my dad was there, you know, the entire time he was there. He went over to my dad, right in front of me, like I didn't even exist, and he's like, your son's gonna be paralyzed for the rest of his life. I was just sitting there just like, you know, all doped up on drugs, like, oh, yeah. And didn't really bother me all that much. I thought, you know, oh, I'm gonna be fine, you know, I'm gonna be okay, I'm gonna be skating again, this ain't no worry. Plus I was high as hell, so I didn't really even care. I think it was like L2, L3, L4, and then partial of my middle. I pretty much shattered them. They rushed me into surgery right away. Like it wasn't even like an hour that I was there. They fixed the discs, and they try to stack the spine, I guess, in the lower column and try to let me heal. So I never told anybody about this. My dad has known about it since I was born. It's not so rare now. I looked up the numbers on it. I have golden Haar syndrome, which causes unique facial structures and incomplete development of vertebrae. My neck is fused, so it's a little tilted, but that's okay. So I had no discs in my neck, which caused my spine to be the way it was, which is also why, like, the entire time they were telling my dad, yo, like, your kid can't skate, what are you doing? And I was just, I loved it, you know? I didn't really notice after a while until I was like, oh, dude, you know, because I did big drops, but it was just like, dude, I didn't do it, that wasn't like, Nija huge, like, how? After the surgery, I mean, like a few days later, I started moving my toes and all that good stuff, like Kill Bill, when she's like in the car and she's like looking at her toe and she's trying to move it. And that's what I was trying to do. I was like, you know, trying to move it. You can't move it, but finally, I was finally getting some movement. And it started getting the nurses in my room, helping me to move my legs, you know. That was a wonderful thing, you know, and I always felt like it was gonna happen. After about a month or two of learning how to walk again, I was barely able to use my legs and wobble, and I had to use one of those little old lady thingies. I ended up having to go back because I was in excruciating pain again, and I had slipped the disc, so I had to go into surgery again. And then the same thing happened again. I'm in a wheelchair, you know, just trying to get well again, you know, trying to walk again. Wasn't really all that bothered. Oh, I'm gonna be good. That's what I was thinking. I'm gonna be good. Everything's gonna be fine. This time, it's good. And I think I happened to like sneeze too hard, and I broke my shit again. And I had to go back, and then they did the surgery again, and then they tried to stack it again, and then it happened again, and then they fixed me again. And after that time, I ended up going to Dornbecker Children's Hospital. They patched me up. They screwed me up. And if you'll see in the pictures, everything lower and then partial of my middle is all bolted, screwed in, you know, like a building. It's there and it's sturdy.
Broke my back twice. Only twice.
It was up and then right down back to zero, up, right down back to zero. And there was times of getting tired of being like, dude, this is a lot. You know, the physical pain really was a lot. Learning how to walk again was a lot of effort and energy, but the physical pain, the tubes hanging out my back, you know, that was a lot. I think that really messed with me as a kid, but I sure in the hell was gonna walk again.
Doctors would think about that.
I told them nothing, it's secret. Yo, this is what's so cool about it. I went to a skate park one day with all these little youngins I was hanging out. I was surrounding myself with youngins. I just started getting clean again. I wanted to be a good role model. And I saw the fat drop there. It was like one of the fattest drops they had. I started getting that feeling back. There's just something about seeing the drop. I was like, I can do it, you know, I can do it. And I told the kids to give me one of their boards. And I grabbed their board and flew it. And then I, you know, biffed it. And then after a couple times, I did it like the fourth try, fifth try, and was stoked. That feeling of power, control. I'm in control. This board was always there for me throughout my childhood. It's something I did every day. So I felt like my life had a purpose. Again, when I stepped on that board, I was like, wow. It was a beautiful feeling. I just started hitting it. But after a month in, I started using again. And then I went and got clean in a different city. And then I went to a house, which is called Oxford, and it's for people who are trying to recover. And I found somebody named TJ there, and he was a cool dude. This guy, he's like, yo, I'm a skater too, you know, like blah, 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 blah. First day I was out of treatment, bro, I was at the park, you know, with him. We were at the park skating. And then I started going hard again, you know, but I was clean. So I was just pushing myself, you know, I was clear-minded. When I'm done skating, I'm done, like, I'm ruined. My whole body's ruined. I'm in the bed just moaning and groaning. But then after like 3 days, I'm like, all right, let's maybe get back on the board again. Yeah, it's worth it. Oh, the feeling you get out of it, you know, it's like I will break myself to skate, you know. People will call it stupid, some people will call it badass, but like, it's something that gives me life, you know. Mentally, therapy, really good. Physically, ouch. Sometimes you just gotta give up and be happy, you know.
No.
Sometimes you just gotta know when to walk away. What I'm trying to do with skateboarding right now is I'm trying to gain some closure. You know, because that chapter was cut off for me. That book was closed on me. Ever since that drop, it was just like my life had purpose again, you know. I get to read this part of the chapter again, and I'm super stoked to see what happens. I want to be able to close that book on my own and be like, okay, and put it on the shelf. Because it was just a book sitting there, like I wasn't allowed to open up again, you know? And I really wanted to see where that went. But now with what I'm doing and everything that's going on in my life, it's a perfect time to be skating. It's a perfect time to be clean. It's a perfect time to just try to positively affect other people around me. You know, and most definitely get closure. You know, I think a big piece was trying to prove to myself that I did this, and prove to people around me that I did this and this was real, because I didn't want to go on my whole life being like, yeah, I used to do this and I used to do that, because I wanted to just do that. I wanted to just show that I could do it because I could. This is my life, skateboarding. And I'm doing this. Like, I can't believe it. The things I'm doing, you know, this 180 down, this fat drop that I'm like, yo, I'm doing this, bro. Like, and that seems out of my world crazy. And I'm like, my brain says, no, you can't do it. I'm like, I can do it.
Yeah.